Mark Moyar. He's a USAID whistleblower, and he joins me now. So, Mark, you started at USAID, and what'd they do the first thing? Did they send you to DEI camp?
Yes, and great to be with you, Jesse. So I didn't get into the agency till February 2018, and this is one of the big differences that we're already seeing. That in 2017, Trump administration was very slow to get into the agency. So I get there in February, and we have what's called a privilege walk as part of the orientation, where you are given an identity. Now, I was a Scandinavian woman, and so when they read lines like, I get discriminated against because of government services, or people don't look how I look. So you took a step forward if it applied, and if it didn't. And so I ended up near the front, and the indigenous woman with unwanted pregnancy and the male prostitute were at the other end, and then we talked about our privileges.
All right, so you were trained to be a Scandinavian woman in a privilege walk, not root out corruption. What kind of disguises do they use to fund these projects? I mean, do they just change the names of these things? Is there really some other reason we're doing this?
Yeah, they're very effective at rebranding things. So in the first Trump administration, the priorities were support national interests, as they are now. Another thing was countering terrorism and promoting self-reliance. So I went to a country, just to give one example, they had a feminist women's book club that had been started under the Obama administration, and then they now said this is a counter-terror program because feminist women are key fighters in the battle against terrorism.
Oh, yes, yes. What happened when you raised concerns that this thing was just a big corrupt money pit?
Yeah, so I reported one of my subordinates for criminal conflict of interest, and the first discouraging sign was I was told, well, that's nice you want to do that. Most people here don't want to report corruption. Now, they didn't tell me why. I later figured out it's because you get in a lot of trouble. So I was accused of publishing classified information in something I'd written 2 years earlier, which had never been subjected to any prior question. And so they ultimately used that to fire me. Now, the people who were engaged in the corruption managed to hold on to their jobs. And so there's a culture of corruption that says, if you are going to criticize anything corrupt, we're going to come after you, and we're going to use the tools that are supposed to be used to go after criminals to come after you. So they ended up firing me based on this bogus accusation, and I've been in court for the last 3 years trying to get them to turn over the facts. And this is, of course, what we've seen with a lot of cases with Senator Ernst, for example. They refuse to turn over information to the courts or to members of Congress. And so this is why people are fed up.
So they stonewall, and then they weaponize classified information to take you down. That sounds quite familiar. How do you think DOJ is doing so far uncovering this fraud inside USAID?
Well, from what I've seen so far, they seem to be doing a good job. I do think you're going to need forensic accountants to go in there. It's probably going to take a long time because these bureaucrats have devised very crafty ways to hide money. So I was there in 2019, more than 2 years after the Trump administration came in the first time. We were still finding programs that the political appointees didn't know about. Now, you'd think you'd go in and say, okay, guys, tell us where the money is, but somehow, they will come up with some excuse why they didn't give it to you. And that's partly why I think you're seeing this more heavy-handed approach, because the people there were so good the first Trump term at hiding things from us and mislabeling them and slow rolling them. And, you also, I think the first term, some of the Trump appointees were frankly not as vigilant as they should have been. It seems like now there's a much stronger effort and a more concerted effort to go in and get all of the information.
And we're finding out Politico was paid $26 million by the Biden administration. Can you come up with any legitimate reason why the Biden people are paying so much for Politico subscriptions?
No, that is deeply disturbing, because I saw, including at USAID the first Trump term, Politico would often run hit pieces on people in the Trump administration, and they would source these from anonymous bureaucrats who didn't like what the Trump administration was doing. They're not at all an impartial news outlet. I think everybody knows that. And so I think certainly it's a welcome sign. The administration is saying, "Hey, we're not going to do this." And clearly, I don't think they've been subsidizing very many conservative news outlets or subscriptions. And but this, I'm sure, it's going to get a lot more scrutiny and see who else. Clearly, this is not the only case where the Biden administration was subsidizing what's supposedly impartial media or organizations.
I think if Trump was buying thousands of Fox Nation subscriptions to the tune of $26 million, I think they'd have a little bit of a problem with that. Thank you so much. Great to have you on, Mark. Good luck in the fight against that insanity.
Thank you.